Ride on Oakland Community College. With an OCC education, the possibilities are virtually unlimited. Enroll today. Here's Guy Gordon.
Good afternoon, everybody. Happy Wednesday to you. Welcome in. We invite you to tune in on Facebook, on our Facebook Live at our WJR Facebook page, because as we said, we will be spotlighting Oakland Community College all day today. And we talk a lot about what's going to keep Michigan strong, what is going to help us bounce back from the economic calamities that we're seeing in some sectors of the economy. It's going to be about skills. It's going to be about the opportunities that we build into ourselves and investing in ourselves to make the most of those opportunities when they present themselves. And that's why we're focusing on this very important piece of the education puzzle, and that is community colleges, specifically OCC, Oakland Community College. We're joined by the Chancellor, Peter Provenzano. And it's good to have you with us, Peter. Welcome.
Guy, it's a pleasure to be here.
So I got to tell you, I was already planning on talking with you today, and I look up and I get an alert from the Detroit News with this headline: "Racked by COVID losses, Michigan colleges make unprecedented cuts." Obviously, it's been a tough year. Just give me a status report on what's been happening at OCC.
As you know, it's been a very tough year, but I have to say, from OCC's perspective, we've been very fortunate. Early on, we focused back in March on converting all of our classes from face-to-face to a remote format. We did that. We transferred over 1,500 classes to a remote format in a little over a week and a half. And so it was a Herculean task, but we have an awesome team. We pulled through, and we successfully did that and transferred all of our student services to online. So the result is that ever since March, we've been operating remotely, including all of our student services, having students meet on a very limited basis, face-to-face, for some of the skilled trades training that's very difficult to do remotely.
Right.
But the result is, because we've been able to keep classes going, we've been able to keep the revenue streams flowing and people employed. And so we've been able to withstand some of the budget cuts that other universities and colleges are facing.
We know that as horrible as the COVID-19 experience has been, that for every calamity, there's also, in some cases, an opportunity. And I was looking at this at the outset and thinking, geez, we've got people in lowered skilled jobs getting hit hard. But they are getting unemployment checks that are $600 a week bigger than they're normally getting. So in some cases, they have money in their pocket and also time on their hands because they've been furloughed. And I thought, what a perfect opportunity. I would think that OCC and other community colleges would be really seeing a boost in enrollment because of this, as people look at this opportunity and say, hey, I can upskill. I can, as you say, empower myself. Has that been the reality for OCC and other community colleges?
You know, what's interesting is that it really took us by surprise. We thought the very same thing, but what we found is, because of the tremendous disruption of COVID and the pandemic, while we're seeing a decrease or a decline in enrollment from what I refer to as our traditional student, that part-time student, because they're just trying to manage so much, working from home. Oftentimes they're a teacher at home, right? So they have students that are taking online classes, so it's just a lot to juggle. We also see a lot of university students that are coming to community colleges because they're being displaced. And so what we know is that this does not look at all like we had thought. But to your point, there's never been a better time to invest in yourself and take advantage of the flexibility of these courses being fully remote. You can take them 24/7, as well as there's so much money out there that students can take advantage of to continue on with their academic journey.
That's a really important point. What is the financial assistance available for those that want to take the plunge and start investing in themselves?
There's so much. So speaking from OCC's perspective, we have over 300 academic scholarships that are available. We have, Chancellor Scholarship, which is just a tremendous scholarship. Each year we offer 100 qualifying students about $3,500 a year, which covers the tuition and fees for their first year. But we also have, we just did it this past summer, and we plan on continuing it again this next summer, a scholarship that we refer to as the Summer Momentum Scholarship. And what that does is it provides students who took classes in the fall as well as the winter up to 6 credit hours. So it's basically 2 free classes to encourage them to come back to school to keep on with their academic journey this summer. And then we have a student success fund that helps, that's really designed by very generous donors from across Oakland County, as well as internally here at OCC. And we use that money to help students who are facing hardships that really go beyond education. And then one of the things that we hear a lot about right now is the Futures for Frontliners program, which is being offered by the state of Michigan, which is a phenomenal program that our frontline workers can take advantage of. So
as we look at this and as people consider, what do I want to do if this is presented to me as an opportunity? What are the one things I think is great about community colleges, and I don't want to step on my four-year academic learning institutions here and step on their toes, but there is a value proposition there that is quite unique and quite compelling. So if I'm sitting here as a student or as an 18-year-old that took a gap semester, I'm trying to figure out what to do. Give me the best value proposition in terms of saying, these are the fields of studies you need to look at right now where you can see immediate benefit upon concluding this program.
What we always talk about is, pre-pandemic, there was a very, very tight labor market. Post-pandemic, I see that labor market even being tighter. Every company that we talk to, corporations, they're saying they're hiring now and they will be hiring in full force post-pandemic. And we know that if you have a credential, some sort of training, it increases your employability as well as the amount of money that you can earn in your lifetime. There's a huge demand in nursing, all of the skilled trades. We hear that, on a daily basis, robotics, manufacturing. And then let's not forget about public services, police, fire, EMS. Right. You'll hear later on from Dave Ceci talking a little about that. And then the other thing is workforce development. There's a tremendous amount of need. So corporations are always looking for new talent. And what they're finding is that with that tight talent pool, their talent is right there, working within their corporation. So it's a great opportunity for those companies to send their employees to school or to bring OCC into the company. We do a lot of customized training there. And so the possibilities are endless. There's a huge demand across the board for all of these industries.
Well, and Peter, you're preaching to the choir here because everybody wants to talk about, we need to raise the minimum wage. You want to raise your wage, raise your skill level. That is currency in the marketplace that nobody can take away from you and no government can mandate. Your skills are what's going to make you marketable from here on out. So thank you so much for bringing us into the college tour and keep putting us on your list. And we look forward to some discussions here throughout the day with some of your department leaders.
Pleasure, Guy. Take care.
You too. I can think of few value propositions that deliver as much as your tuition at Oakland Community College. Jolene Chapman is, excuse me, is the Dean of Engineering, Manufacturing, and Industrial Technology. I think I have some metal shavings in my throat here, Jolene. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
This is what happens when you talk for a living. Correct me if I'm wrong, but in terms of those fields of endeavor that have maybe the biggest impact on your bottom line as an income earner, is engineering the one that delivers perhaps the best return on an education investment?
Well, engineering, of course, is a four-year degree. We have two-year associate degrees at OCC, but we have industrial technologies that lead into engineering programs. So the programs that we have at OCC in our engineering, manufacturing, and industrial technologies division are programs like automobile servicing, collision auto repair, computer-aided design, HVAC, machine tool technology, construction management, robotics, and welding.
Well, and we know that two areas that seem to be just screaming for people is engineering and also in the construction industry where they just can't get enough skilled trades. You say it's a two-year degree. Do most people end up completing it, and are they able to transition to a new job in that span of time?
So they can get 2 years of the first 2 years of a four-year degree here at OCC and set themselves up really well for that seamless transfer into a four-year institution. They can also get education that enables them to work as an engineering technician or a machine tool technology technician or a robotics technician and be able to earn a living, a good living doing those sorts of things. And then if they decide to go on for 2 more years later, they're certainly set up very well to do that.
In terms of the opportunities to polish the apple while you're learning, how many opportunities do people have to actually work in a lab setting? And is that somewhat limited by COVID and distancing? or can they do that off campus in more of an apprentice internship type program?
Yeah, so COVID-19 has certainly sent everybody awry, right? Things are just not what they normally are. And our course caps have been limited. So we can only have a few people in the lab when we would normally have a full lab. So we're disappointed that we can't get those students into the lab as often and as we would like to, although we're allowed as of today to bring students back. So that's excellent. Yeah, you mentioned apprenticeships. Apprenticeship is an opportunity to learn and earn. So students enroll in a program that has been established between the college and the employer, and they follow this scripted path of courses, and they earn money while they learn, and there's a wage progression there that the employer has to abide by. So it really is a tremendous opportunity. We do have apprentices at GM and Lake Orion and at Williams International. And while apprenticeships are normally thought of in the skilled trades area, they're also in healthcare and information technology. We do have apprentices in the Henry Ford Health System as well for medical assisting. So it's a wonderful opportunity to upskill and so that you don't have to stop earning while you're learning. You can do both at the same time.
Well, and the other thing is, there's the old thing that my dad always harped on, you're way ahead of the game if you have a foot in the door. Right.
Yep, that is true. We have employers calling us all the time saying, we need people who are job ready. How can we, do you have students who are nearing graduation? Well, in skilled trades, the students don't wait until they're ready to graduate to go looking for jobs. Usually they take 2 or 3 classes, and then unfortunately for us, but fortunately for the students, they get hired into good paying jobs. And so in an effort to bridge the gap between getting students ready and what the employer needs, we're rolling out a pre-apprenticeship program that we intend to roll out in March. We hoped it would be sooner, but it's looking like March. It's a program that will get students job ready. What's unique about this program, Guy, is that it is free for participants, and it's open to people of all ages. It's a short-term boot camp style program that prepares students to be work ready. It's 5 weeks in length, and people participating in it will learn basic skills like shop math and safety and blueprint reading. And we'll also weave in there some workplace skills like time management and personal accountability and communication. And at the end of those 5 weeks, we will connect those participants with employers who are looking to establish apprenticeship programs.
Jolene, I got to tell you, that seems tailor-made for some of the young people that I've been talking with, that when COVID hit, they said, well, I'm not going to spend money on education as long as it's going to be virtual in the fall. So I'm going to take a gap year, the recent high school graduates, or a gap semester. That sounds tailor-made for them because it's 5 weeks. They get upskilled. They kind of get their head back in the game. And then they can be ready for summer or fall or whatever comes next once we have a vaccine.
Yeah, it is. That would be our probably our biggest target audience. But again, this is open to anyone who maybe somebody wants to transition, do something completely different. This is an opportunity to, like you said, get a foot in the door and be connected with companies that are looking to have apprentices.
Beyond that pre-apprenticeship program, though, if I'm a young person that's saying, I just want to take a quick bite with OCC, and then I'm going to move maybe to a 4-year university or something else, how transferable are those credits? And because your program is so goal-oriented, where you complete and you have something in your hand that's marketable, do they really need to go the full 2?
So there are some short-term programs, but maybe somebody only needs like a 1-year certificate. Welding is a perfect example of, we don't have a degree in welding, but we have a 1-year certificate. And if you want to become a career welder, that is the route to go. Now, this pre-apprenticeship program is a little different. It's only 5 weeks. And so while it's going to be fortified with awesome instruction and people will learn a lot, probably not ready then to go right on to a 4-year school, probably need a little more to fortify. This is to get them job ready, and then we'll work with them and their employers to get them in a registered apprenticeship where they take classes while they are working with the company.
So if I am a young person and you've just now inspired me, or maybe I'm an adult worker who wants to learn and earn, who do I call, and what are my opportunities in terms of maybe seeking financial support? How long does that process take, especially if I want to get in for the next round?
Yep. So the pre-apprenticeship program is free. So it's an investment just of time, not of money, for the first couple go rounds. The best way to get a hold of us, since we're all working remotely, we're very email heavy right now. So the best way would be to send an email to apprenticeship@oaklandcc.edu.
Apprenticeship at OCC. Do it again.
Yep. Apprenticeship@oaklandcc.edu.
Oaklandcc.edu. Jolene Chapman, thanks so much. We hope they flood the gates and we can get a lot of people upskilled and get this economy humming in the new year.
Hey, thanks for having me. Take care.
Jolene Chapman, who is the Dean of Engineering, Manufacturing, and Industrial Tech.
Welcome to a special edition of The Guy Gordon Show on News Talk 760 WJR for a spotlight on Oakland Community College. With an OCC education, the possibilities are virtually unlimited. Enroll today. Here's Guy Gordon.
We have so many institutions of higher learning here in Southeast Michigan, and we're so blessed to have them. And we have the University Research Corridor, and all of them are what makes Michigan competitive and will ensure our competitiveness going forward. But few can give you the quick launch that Oakland Community College can. And I want to check in with Dave Ceci. He's the Academic Dean of Public Services and Combined Regional Emergency Services Training, also known as CREST. But we're talking police, fire, EMS, public safety. David, great to have you with us.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it, Mr. Gordon.
I got to tell you, I've been out to your training academy there, and I would think that you must have a lot of demand for other departments to come out there and use this, because, I mean, this is like a Hollywood backlot in terms of firefighting.
We do. We have agencies from all over the state coming out here, some federal agencies, too, that come to rent the site, to utilize the facilities, fire departments utilizing the fire tower that we have. We are busy 5-6 days a week out there on that site with agencies. It's a great training facility. It really is.
I mean, do other public service academies have that kind of infrastructure for that kind of hands-on training?
No one else has that in the state of Michigan. The closest you would get would be Camp Grayling, and that's a military base. So
right.
They have a little more resources than we do. But no other police academy, fire academy, EMS academy has the training facility like we do.
And I would have to think, and these days we're talking a lot about police training, that kind of hands-on, maybe it's a shoot, don't shoot exercise, or it is, executing a search warrant, entering a home, doing it safely. There's no substitute for experience. And so I've got to imagine that you're in pretty high demand. How's enrollment?
Enrollment is phenomenal. Our fire academy that's coming up is almost full. The police academy is at capacity. Our EMS academy, our EMT and paramedic academy are also doing really well. When I talk to the people about why they're getting into it, most of them say it's because of what they're seeing on the news and in the media, and they want to show people that law enforcement officers are not bad people, that they're good people, and they want to make that change. They want to be that change in the industry. So we really are not seeing any downturn. In fact, enrollment is up.
It's interesting that you say that, because in talking with buddies of mine that are sheriffs and police chiefs, and they have, and maybe it's because it's an urban environment, but they are finding that it's getting a little bit harder. So I can't tell you how encouraging that is to hear that. What kind of changes do you think we may be seeing coming down the road, and what kind of changes have you made to your curriculum? Not huge adjustments, but how is the education of future law enforcement officers changing because of the George Floyd incident, and just because it's a constantly evolving discipline?
So we kind of were ahead of the curve on this before this situation became in the public consciousness. We had already decided we wanted to start implementing things like implicit bias training and de-escalation training. And we have been doing it for a couple of years now before all this came into place. So we've positioned ourselves in a great spot to be ready for what's coming, for what the governor has enacted in the Senate Bill 954 for law enforcement training. We're already there. We're already doing what they want us to do. We are, training in use of force, like you said, shoot, don't shoot scenarios. We have a use of force simulator that allows us to give those kind of scenarios to the students so they get that hands-on practicality. And I'll tell you, we are doing a lot more hands-on. And one of the things that we do is that we do a scenario that deals with duty to act. Your partner is doing something wrong. We expect the cadets to learn from that. We have those scenarios. They are mandatory that we put our cadets through those scenarios to test them on those ethical situations. So the hands-on, I think, is one of the big things that we're doing right now. We're putting them in those live scenarios, and the students really walk away from that saying, I learned so much. They take that book learning, the didactic learning, and they go out there on that site, and they are able to implement it in real-life situations.
When you talk to departments, what is it they're looking for in terms of temperament? Maybe not, the soft skills that everybody needs, but what are they looking for, and have they changed what they are looking for?
I think they're still looking for strong individuals who are confident, can handle themselves, but they are looking for people who also can have that empathy and have some of those soft skills, being good listeners, effective communicators. That's one of the big things I've been getting from a lot of the chiefs is, we need more effective communicators. They need more time on that, how to talk to people, because they feel that some of the social media is impacting those skills, because we don't have as much face-to-face communication.
No question. And that's just not in your line of work. It's in my line of work too. It's people just aren't very, very precise in the way that they talk or communicate. And sometimes that precision and those nuances can mean so much, especially in a high-stress situation like your graduates will find themselves in. Go back to implicit bias training, because I think there's a misunderstanding and maybe a little bit of grievance about that, because it presumes that we all are biased. And I don't know a lot of us that will accept that. So tell me how you walk that line in an implicit bias training and why you think it's important.
So the implicit bias training, we all have some sort of biases. And I think sometimes people take having a bias with racial prejudice or something like that. It's not always that. It could be gender or body type or things like that. And what we try to do is acknowledge that those exist, work to overcome those, make sure that people are cognizant that they have those. So when they're out there dealing with the public and the community, that those aren't impacting their performance. It's just another way of introspection and helping people look at how they communicate, really. But I think the reason that it's tagged so with that negative connotation is people think it means automatically, racist or prejudice based on those type of things, when it's not always necessary.
Or that you're going to be judged, and that's not the case. It's just to make you more self-aware.
Absolutely.
That these could be in you. Watch for the warning sign.
Absolutely. That is, we talk about, like you said, those kind of that warning sign. That's a good way to put it. We talk about that in those classes to look for those type of things.
Yeah. Why am I resenting this person upon a first encounter?
Yep.
David Ceci, we wish you so well. Nothing but success for the officers you graduate, and we hope they all have safe careers and rewarding careers. Thanks so much for what you're doing at OCC. And that Crest Training Academy, off the charts amazing. We're very, very proud to have that in our community.
Thank you, sir. You take care.
David Ceci, who is the Dean of Public Services. When we